We'll call the Building and Facilities Construction Committee meeting of Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 at 4 o'clock to order at 4, what is it? 4:08. Thank you. Okay, and just for the recorder, Linda Brown,
Fred Fontaine.
Bob Wormy.
Shirley Masinski, and our administrator, Mike Wojcik.
Matt.
And in the audience, Matt Wojcik.
I have a brother Mike, I have a
Sorry.
nephew Mike, I have
There's
three
too many
cousins named Mike.
Matts, and Mike Fitzpatrick is in the audience. Thank
That's
you.
what it was.
Yes. All right, first item on the agenda, the library. I am assuming the ceiling is done.
All the work is done. The paint was done. The cleanup wasn't really the best cleanup job that a contractor's ever done. So Justin hired out and got somebody to do, actually the same firm we used to clean town hall, went over and did a very nice job. I think we're almost ready for closeout, so we're gonna punch that out and close out the account and be done with it.
Thank you. Anybody, questions?
By the way, Madam Chair, before we get too deep into the meeting, my apologies for my attire and appearance. I volunteered this morning at the food pantry farm in Grafton,
Oh.
Brigham Hill.
Yeah.
The Chamber and the Women's Success Network asked members of the
Oh, good.
Chamber to go and help them, and the Chamber has been really helpful to us. So I went and pulled weeds, and now I look like
Oh, you
pulled
can
weeds in the
you
rain.
can come to my garden.
I was
Well,
only there for an hour, and I feel like a
Hey.
drowned rat.
Well,
So
thank you for doing that.
I should have changed.
Green communities.
Green Communities, I think the update was sent only to the chair, so I'll tell the information to everyone at the
Yes.
same time. The senior center is done, so the LED
Okay.
light conversion is completed there. The work is in progress at the fire department, and we will finish the high school during the summer break.
Yeah, I
There
did
was a
read
little bit of a
that.
delay, and there was some supplies that came in a little bit late, but it's not going to keep us from finishing before school comes back.
Okay. Questions, anybody?
And thank goodness, the
Yeah.
faster we get this done, the more money we're going to save this winter, because
Yes.
electricity is through the roof. At least Eversource has already filed their tariff, so we're going to save a lot of money with this.
Questions, anyone?
Nope.
Hopefully, it will save us money. All right, item 3 is the municipal backup generator.
So I just got off the phone with Mr. Gerber from McRitchie.
Yep,
We will have bid documents by the end of this week or Monday, the latest.
okay,
Now, once we have the bid documents, I'm going to read them, make sure they're in compliance.
right,
We'll do the schedule for the advertisement in the newspaper, in the Central Register, and on combis. We have to post it in multiple locations. I'll be sending all the bidders to Bid Docs, which is a website where they register, they hold the package, and then if we amend anything, they get an automatic email when we
good,
update the filing. So
good.
pretty happy with where he is. He just had a couple questions left. He's already reached out and clarified an issue with our electrical inspector, so there's a little bit of cost estimation work that still needs to be completed, but when he started this project for us, he had no help. He's got 3 people in the office now, so we're moving very rapidly through the backlog with this, but anxious to get out there because we know that generators are on back order.
Right, so you expect the bid documents by Monday, you said?
Bid docs by the end of this week
Oh,
or
end of-
Monday the latest.
Okay,
I'm going to hold them to that.
yep, and you will let us know for sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Bad Luck Pond Outlet Bridge. Needed some reseeding. What's taking place there?
So the last
Hydro seeding,
update
yeah.
I saw from the contractor to Mr. Furno was that they wanted to finish the punch list this week So it's time to check in with them again. They were out there last week picking up some loose items they had around. Mr. Finnemore has called and very politely asked for the fence to be moved so we can have access to his property. We have all the materials on hand to do that for him. So that's the next step. And once we're finished with those small items, we should be able to close out this project. I am not sure how close we are to budget on it, because I don't know that GPI has actually provided us with an up-to-date reconciliation of what's been billed and what's been paid.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, we're not beyond the budget because nobody's rung the bell. When we've done some small change orders, and there was money, there was flexibility in the budget, so.
Okay.
I just don't think there's going to be a large surplus in this account. And when it's closed, it's going to be very close to what was approved.
Questions, anybody? Okay. So we'll keep that on the list until we know it's final. Item 5, municipal fire alarm, we're still holding on that until the other things are done, okay? Agreed? Municipal gymnasium windows, what's happened? I
So
thought-
I think the work is going to begin the first week of July. All the supplies are on hand.
That way it could never,
The only change to the spec was the windows were built without a mullion, without a center mullion, they're one piece.
they're gonna fries or something better than each other.
But the consensus is that they actually look better. that
Okay,
way.
because the last time the change, it was from aluminum, I
upgraded,
think,
right, to white. So they're going to be a white frame and a single pane,
Right,
and that's what they're going to look like. And then the shades are not going to be total pure blackout. They'll give a dark frosted window appearance when they're pulled down. All that work, all that discussion has occurred already, so it was a matter of getting the asbestos contractor here at the same time as them, so they can march right through the project.
Chief could use another.
The foreman says that once they get started, they want to start at the beginning of the week because they want to be done by the end of the week. So
okay.
that's the first 2 weeks of July.
So, because the last time we were told, I believe, the 1st of June.
Yep.
So is there any change in the cost estimate?
No. So everything's already been bought. It's already on hand. So we've taken delivery of the supplies.
Okay. All right, public safety radio system.
We are waiting for we're still waiting for the structural report from American Tower.
I don't know the exact
Really?
number, but it's called.
It's a sign-off. That's part of our building permit process. The tower company has a structural engineer who will certify that the equipment that we're going to put up there isn't going to destabilize.
Yeah.
It sounds very sensible. We're replacing an antenna with a slightly larger antenna. So unless we had the biggest hurricane that ever hit Douglas, just completely skipped the coastline and just
Came down
on top of us, I don't know what difference it would make, but it's a sign off that we need to have. The rest of the work, so all the supplies are on hand. There is the streams of work have split apart from your structural issues of microwave dishes and whatnot, and then your preparations, so your fleet. You have to have a fleet plan, and then each individual mobile radio and portable radio is programmed and coded to be assigned to its role in the fleet and on our staff. So that work is going on. So we met with the contractor, each individual department met with the vendor and went through how they want to configure the radios. So once we get the sign off from American Tower, we'll be putting up the 2 microwave dishes on the 2 towers, and then we'll start testing. Everything else has been completed, including the fiber. So that was 2 weeks ago. Spectrum finally finished and tested the fiber network that we have in place.
Okay. Questions, anybody?
Yeah, 1,600 and something else.
This has been painfully long. We've been through 2 turnovers in project leader for the vendor,
Uh-huh.
so that slows things down.
Yeah.
I think they're being replaced because they're not getting their work done fast enough. But we're now dealing with a more senior person on their staff, and things are moving along pretty well at this point.
Was there, you said a heavier tower or antenna?
So what we're putting up is bigger than what we're taking down. So we're going to take our existing spot on the
Okay.
tower, we're going to take our old equipment off
Yeah?
and put the new equipment up.
Okay.
It's a little bit larger surface area.
And any change in the cost?
No, because that's the new system, that's what was spec.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
no change in price.
okay. Good?
Yep.
So you'll keep us updated on that. All right. Number 8, the HVAC units on the roof of the municipal building. Where are we?
I am waiting for Seaman Engineering to finish their load calculations and bid documents. I prefer to have Adam, since Adam manages this relationship, I'd rather have him be, I know he's on vacation today.
Yep.
Fully brief you on the details of where we are with it. We've been asking him to hurry up and finish. So the guy's name is Kevin Seaman. And to hurry up and get this done, because it's time to go out to bid. I really don't, I want the roof done this year before it gets cold. And obviously, the roof units have to be fixed. We've had this amazing blessing of this weather has been neither too hot nor too cold. So the units are just sitting there, not running. That's not going to last forever, so we need to get to it.
So, last I remember, wasn't that either we go with the 4 units or the 2? But it's going to be what he has to say that will decide that?
That and pricing, right? So we have a budget. I had asked Mr. Seaman to also consider a more modern technology, the heat pump technology.
Right.
And my concern is if I give this guy too much, we're just going to get delayed even more. And the concern is the building has to be tightened up, and we have to be able to make sure that the plumbing upstairs doesn't freeze up on us in the winter.
In order to have the heat
We
pump.
got to solve the issue. We've got to fix what we have up there because they're not working.
Yeah.
So I would rather the perfect, but I can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. If we end up in a default position where we have to fix 2, leave the other 2 for now, just so that we can make sure that the building doesn't freeze up, we don't damage the building anymore, we'll have to do that. I don't want to be put in that position, which is why we're trying to get the guy to hurry up.
Okay, because I think there was thought that we would have
Yeah,
things to go out for bids.
I agree.
Okay, because I'm like, we got to get the roof done before winter.
Agreed.
So, anyone? Any more questions? Okay. Municipal main roof replacement. That's what we're waiting. Okay. No other comments on that. All right, heat pumps, number 10, for the fire station.
So this item has been put on the select board's list of proposed projects for funding under the American Rescue Plan Act. It would be an eligible use of those funds because it would be improving air circulation at a public building where people congregate. Because staff sleep there and work there. So I'm pending that result. Right?
Okay.
Will the funding be there?
Oh, so you don't know if the funding is
Linda?
there, or it is going to be?
So it's in the pile of paper we've handed the Board of
So it
Selectmen.
hasn't been approved yet?
No,
Okay.
they have not worked their way through that yet.
So until it gets approved, nothing really can be done about it?
That's right.
Okay.
Now, one of our opportunities here is that we're doing an electrical upgrade to the whole building. So McRitchie has put the buzz in our ears that, look, we have mechanical engineers on staff. It would be beneficial to the town if we designed your heating, ventilation, air conditioning system to play nice in the sandbox with your new electrical upgrade, so that we take care of the whole thing all at once, proper safeguards and all the rest of it that go into it, rather than doing the upgrade and then adding on new appliances that have a heavy draw. I agree with that. It recommends the project somewhere, but it's not my call or our call as a whole group here. It's the select board will have to prioritize this project for funding. The good news is that on a budget of over $2 million, we're looking at, less than 5% of that would be for this project, so.
So
I'm
it might
hoping
not
fares
even,
well.
it might not even make that list
It
as
might not.
approved?
Right.
Oh,
It's
okay.
up to the board to decide
Yeah.
what the highest priority is. There are projects that have been requested that would use all of the ARPA money. So
So the fire station doesn't have any air conditioning
it
at
does
all?
not have air conditioning, they're using portable units,
Oh, okay, all right.
the likes of which look like something from Star Trek, back when they thought it was high-tech.
Yeah,
Like it's on wheels, it's got this big, long plastic hose that goes to the window.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
You usually see those when you stay in a motel in like Maine somewhere where the air conditioning technology hasn't been upgraded for a while. So, but yeah, that's what they use.
Okay,
They have a couple of window units that are not in the proper location, and that's a whole other story.
So, how soon do you think you could get to a draft? We were supposed to have a draft of
I think
an
last,
RFQ for that,
right,
too.
I think last night we asked the board to put that on their July 5th agenda.
Okay, people, any questions on that?
So that kind of dovetails with number 12. So what,
But wait, we need the status of the oil spill,
yeah,
which should be,
it's a longer conversation.
okay,
may
so
I
you want to
ask
go
that
to
we
the
do
fire,
12?
sure.
So in terms of the electrical upgrade and the standby generator of the fire department, Howard correctly guessed that it would be better for him to get the municipal center generator project finished and out to bid, and then he will turn his attention to this. He doesn't want to send us another bill for another project when he hasn't finished the first one yet. I agree, that's probably good tactics on his part, so that's where we are with it. So we're looking at, we'll be starting this spec after the generator bid is posted. So within the next 2 weeks, we'll start the work,
Okay,
the design work, okay? Now, number 11 is a much longer conversation.
uh-oh. Not good. I'm taking, well, I shouldn't say that. So design work after the municipal situation is taken care of. Okay. All right, status of oil spill.
So it's not the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario would be to have a new consultant say, oh my gosh, the first guy missed this whole great big lagoon full of, uglies. So it's not that.
Okay,
There's nothing like that has happened. It's a different kind of bad feeling. The consultant that we have hired to close out the case has some serious concerns about the way the scientific data was collected and managed by the original consultant. And the original consultant's choices of where to sample, how often to sample, and the integrity of those samples, so whether they were commingled with other samples or not. He also has concerns about the quality of the workmanship that went into digging the wells, the testing wells, and it's an aggravation. It's almost comedic that when they backfilled, they were supposed to backfill with flowable fill, which is a sandy material that's bound together with some Portland cement at the right ratio, and you can pave over the top of it, you can do masonry over the top of it, but it's meant to be fairly easy to extract, to break it up and go back to where you need it to go. These guys used a grout mix that, it's like 3,000 PSI, but the contractor that sold it to us, which is Dauphinese, says, it's probably more like 4,000. So now we're basically jackhammering through the stuff to try to get back to some of the test pits so that we can close out the environmental situation. I think it's fair to say, and I think DEP is going to agree, that this should never have been a tier 1 response, or I get the tiers messed up. It's a tier 2 high. It should never have been a DEP monitored response. This should have been test, excavate, test again, close. Because we did not have significant penetration of fuel oil into the deeper areas that were excavated. So this is why there's concern about the data. The data tend to show, fairly readings that were high enough to require mitigation in a shallow way, and the deeper they went, the soil was clean. They kept going, which is problematic because your current spill didn't cause anything you find past the point. There's no way, number 2, heating fuel, penetrated down 5 feet or 6 feet in the matter of days. It just, as fast as it goes, it doesn't go that fast. It goes that fast in groundwater, in cracks in bedrock, but it doesn't travel that way when it's going through soil that's been compacted because it's under a building. So whatever the current feeling, I don't want to be sued, but the current feeling is that the deeper you go, you're going to find things that people did in this building back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s when the attitudes toward oil, because it was cheaper than dirt, and the environment were just completely different. So there's a feeling that what we've actually been responding to is something that occurred a very long time ago. And
how do you prove it?
you could prove it if you can say that, if you find a way to say that this substance clearly, chemically, is radically different from what it was that spilled. Or you can say, which is what the current consultant is saying, I've retested it all and I've determined that it doesn't kick the threshold for any further action. And then we would close it. We would still monitor some of the wells that have been dug, but we would be closing the incident, which is what we want to do. What exactly we do with all this information and some of the concerns about the integrity of the process is an internal decision for the town to make. We have 2 avenues. We might go down both. One would be to interact with our property casualty insurer and say, you picked this person, and we don't feel like they defended the integrity of the trust fund, the insurance fund, but the way they acted, because it may not have been such a bad spill, and it shouldn't have won over $500,000. The other way is a little bit more draconian, but I'm not afraid to be draconian, but it's appropriate to be draconian, is to just report it to the Attorney General's office through their insurance fraud unit and say, look, we just don't like what we encountered here. And let them make the decision whether there's merit or not to proceed on it. But it's very disappointing. This is not, this the original environmental consultant was not on our side, not on the town of Douglas's side, trying to resolve this, so.
So you're out there jackhammering, is that what is being done now? Okay.
Not the whole thing, right? We're not
Just the
going
pit-
back.
pit area.
Just to try to do some additional tests,
Yep.
And where is that, in the basement of this building?
yes.
I haven't
If you-
been down there.
I would encourage members of the committee to go down, arrange a time with us in advance, and we'll take you down. It would be best to do that when Pat's here, the new environmental consultant, so we can kind of explain
Yeah, I'd
in
like-
layman
I'd like-
terms what you're looking at.
You should have seen the old boiler. We took a tour then.
Yes, we did.
It doesn't look like that anymore,
Oh, yeah.
Might have seen that back when I went to school.
Yeah.
like a scene from James and the Giant Peach. No,
So this jackhammering of the concrete is for test wells that are saying may not have even had to be, weren't even necessary in the
well,
first.
he has to go back and retest. In his professional judgment, the current consultant believes that he needs his own clean set of data that he has done himself, because he simply does not trust.
He's going to put his name to it. He
If he's put his name to it, he wants to be able to say, I dug that hole, I tested that material, I know that it's clean.
Any other questions?
One thing for sure, absolutely sure, is that we have been told they're gonna have to have one of those under the slab negative pressure things that, if you have radon in your home, you know what they look like, right? It's PVC pipe and a little fan and it constantly
Yeah.
creates negative pressure and drags the volatile fumes out. Was never necessary. If it had been installed, it would not have worked because the holes it was going into weren't drilled properly and had been backfilled with concrete-like material, so that doesn't look very good either. But we did not install it, so we did not endure that expense.
So this additional testing that we can rely on is expensive?
It's a fraction of what we would have spent on the under slab ventilation system. And it's worth it to close it out,
Yeah.
and is within the budget that town meeting approved, so we're not
All right.
Okay.
running over that.
So who was supposed to be overseeing this DEP?
So here's, you're putting your finger on the exact problem. Who oversees the environmental consultant? The environmental consultant works for, or was assigned by, Maya.
Yeah, the insurance.
Not the health insurer, the property casualty
Yeah.
insurer. And the co-insurance, Travelers. Remember, we had this weird arrangement. It's quite apparent that nobody is watching the hen house at Maya. We don't, because we trust that Maya, who is paying the bill, is going to hire somebody who's qualified to do the work, and who's going to be honest about the work. I think the lesson we've learned here is that if something like this ever happens again, we're just going to hire somebody right away to be involved in with whatever Maya does. Maya still has the right to pick who they want, because they're going to pay the first $500,000. But it's just not good enough to just trust whoever they send you blindly. It's not peer review, it's something more. It's almost like you have to hire your own attorney because they hired one that may not be doing a good job, so now you need your own just to make sure that you protect your interests.
It's like a project coordinator or something like that.
Yeah, put it this way, if this had been a building project, we would have had to hire
Right.
an owner's project manager to oversee the spending and compliance with the plans. But because this was a remediation, a response, you don't have that much oversight. I get aggravated all the time, I'm sure other people do. When somebody comes into your home or into your place of business and throws acronym after acronym, well, this is well, you're a -15 NGIB, ooh, right? And -15, is that bad? I don't know, what's NGIB? Never heard of it, right? So you trust the experts and you trust the fact that because they're working for the insurance company, that they are somehow incentivized to minimize exposure and cost. But that's not his incentive, quite apparently. Like we said, as soon as we said, we're gonna do a little peer review, off he went, like turning the lights on.
How fast was that?
6 seconds, I think, 6 minutes.
He hit the send button and it was like instantaneous.
I'm out.
He quit.
So we can laugh about it, but it's actually pretty sad.
Yeah,
And my beef with it is about Maya. They collect taxpayer funds from member municipalities, and they should be watching all of their funds the way we watch ours.
Yeah.
And so my expectation is that when I bring these things to their attention, that they will take some kind of action and not just give us the Heisman
Yeah.
that they do with a lot of things. So that's where we're at with that. We've
Yeah.
had nicer things to say, but I don't.
Fortunately, we have a good representative on our side at this point.
Yes.
We have a track record with that company.
okay. Anyone else? Comments, questions? Keep us posted on this, and hopefully, right decisions, and maybe go the both ways you're talking about. It's not, bad enough there was a spill.
Well, the good thing is there is no safety issue. Nobody's breathing
Yeah.
anything bad. It's all.
True. Yep. Okay. So, from what I understand, the selectmen's meeting last night, we're supposed to add the public safety and highway project.
So in the bylaw that creates this committee, your charge is to review the needs assessments of buildings and to move from there to generate with the town administrator and the staff an RFQ that will answer the questions presented by the needs assessment. This is a very important conversation. So the select board started it and moved the ball so that now you have a report to read from the different departments. But you might still have questions, follow-up questions you want to ask. And some refinement needs to occur in terms of what the exact directions to the design professional should be. And I think this process will get teased out a little bit. So the work to come up with the design, the scope of work for the design, can occur here in conversation, but I think it needs to go back to the select board for their approval, then come back here for the designer selection process. So I anticipate this being a couple of steps back and forth with the board. But that's a good thing. It's check-ins at all. But at this point, the board wants it to come here because the conversation involves existing buildings as well as potential for new building, parentheses, S, buildings. So will it be more than one? Would it be only one? Do you want to utilize any of your existing structures? What are the possibilities? That conversation needs to continue to be refined even more than it already has been. Because and again, you don't decide it, the designer decides it. It's how you want to phrase the question to have the designer's work focused and they don't go off on their own imaginary mandate. The world of designers and builders who work in this area, who build police stations or fire stations, and even highway barns. Highway barns, you get a wider selection, but typically, there's a very narrow set of people with the experience and expertise to design and build public safety buildings. So you will see, as we go through the process, a couple of different firms, and they'll both have these very impressive lists of all the fire stations and police stations they've ever built. And what we all want to avoid is them taking something off the shelf, charging you full price for it, and it's not really what you need as a town or want. Custom solutions might cost more in terms of design, but they may be much more cost effective in the long run for operations
Right.
and construction.
So Mike Fitzpatrick is in the audience too, and he was instrumental with this group of gathering the information, the police, the fire, and the highway. And so, Mike, do you have any comments or input that you would like to give?
No, not at this point. I have one question. Is it a possibility, because Matt, you just,
I'm sorry, could you
Like-
speak up, Mike?
yeah, so a question for Matt. You just said that there's a narrow group that focuses on the public safety and a broader group that that would encompass the highway. Is it unusual to use two different firms?
No.
No. So maybe you could, instead of paying the top dollar price for a highway facility, maybe you could potentially explore that. That would be the only question. The only thing I'm wondering is, can we continue on this conversation where it's not on the agenda?
Well, I was going to recommend adding it to the agenda now that we've got a,
Well, it was
it-
referred to this committee with less than 48
Yeah.
hours notice.
Yep. No, I'm just asking, just to keep us clean.
And I'm just bringing it up because this will be on the next
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, so your report has been transmitted to you. I think we've summarized last night's meeting and what the request of this committee is. And at that point, maybe we should stop and not get into the substance of anything
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
it's been posted.
Okay. But once again, though, any questions regarding anything, because it is new on the agenda, and you know what the topic is, and that's going to be on your next agenda. Okay? And we do have some minutes, a couple of minutes, but also just to bring up, and we need your input too, Matt. We will not have a quorum for our regularly scheduled meeting, and we'd have to cancel again. So I think we need to,
in what month was it, August?
August.
no, July is the one Fred is going to be away.
No, it's
No,
August.
Oh, August. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, okay. So we still have July's meeting, and everybody's okay with that?
Yes.
Yep, okay. Well, we can talk about our August meeting and where we are with all the input. Yeah,
That's good to know, though. So this is it, right? This 4?
right now.
Okay.
Again, just for the record, Sean has not responded to the notification. Jen, I know, sends out the information, and I remind him to please let me know, and I have heard nothing. So this, I believe, is the third meeting he has not let me know. So this is it. Ginger Howe, unfortunately, is not going to be able to continue with us. So we have some vacancies. And just as a side, I was appointed to this board by the school committee, and I have not had any contact with them. So I'm, as of technically this meeting, I am done.
We'll fix that for you.
But I have let,
You continue to serve until your successor is qualified and appointed.
I did let Lisa know, and she did say she had contacted the school department, but that's where we're at. So,
We'll handle it. That's my Rhode Island comment. We'll handle it for you. I know a guy.
and I am willing to continue. But you got to remember, people, I'm getting older.
But one possibility here also, Madam Chair, if you're open to it, is that if there is a vacancy for an appointing authority other than the school committee, you could fill that vacancy and the school committee could look within their circles to try to find some, they may not even be aware that they have this
Yeah.
much input into this.
Right.
But
Probably.
it's a pretty much a new school committee.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody served more than 2 terms. Maybe the current chair is,
I have no idea.
but, so it's an all new group.
Yep.
And maybe we can just do it that way.
But I would like to,
Excellent option.
no, but,
I'd go that way.
no, again, I would like to have, at least a response or
Yeah.
some
Who would
communication.
change that, Matt, for her? Because mine used to be the moderator, and now it's the selectman. So,
Really?
I get you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are
You look
two,
at the open spots and try
Right.
to arrange it by who we can reach and have,
Yeah.
yeah, there are a couple from the moderator, and there's, I think, one, maybe some remainder of, well, Ginger was, I believe,
She was up, though, for a brand-new term, so
right, and that was, I
She's
believe,
a-
from the Board of Selectmen.
select board.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was through the moderator.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know that Lisa has notified the school committee, but,
But you need to be reappointed. Quick,
well,
quick, quick,
we've
quick,
still got a few weeks, so,
Before somebody complains, or-
yeah, yeah. All right,
I think you skipped agenda item 5.
yeah, we did. Oh, item 5.
No, that's on
No,
hold.
Oh, it's on
that's on
hold.
hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
understood. I just-
Yeah, that's on hold. We can't, it does, until we get the roof.
Yep.
And we can't get the roof until we
Yep.
get the HVAC taken care of. We do have a couple of sets of minutes, July 20th, I'm sorry,
No.
April 20th and May 18th. I'm looking at the upcoming meetings, so just remember, we do have July 20th as a building and facilities. And if it gets to a week before and you're not going to be able to make it, I do request that you let either Jen or I know. But we have to know, okay? All right. Minutes of May 18th, 2022.
why don't we do the April ones first?
I only have, I'm sorry,
April and May.
you're right. Thank you, Linda. April 20th, 2022.
I have under number 6,
Yeah,
it's about the gym windows.
right.
It says, second line, with the third one due in the next couple of days, they are all around 25,000. That was for the
The asbestos.
remediation for the asbestos. And
Yeah.
it says the whole project is estimated to be under 20,000. Well, that's impossible.
That's right.
So it should be, I think, 75,000 for the whole project?
It says 20,000 under budget.
Oh,
That's right. Good pick. So it should be, I think that's what Matt said.
And I think that's
Yeah.
pretty,
oh, all right, so it's okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bob.
good. Anything else?
On the second page, under number 9,
Yep.
third line, where it says resigned. And when the town started questioning some of the work, oh, he did resign. I
Yep.
thought it was going to say he redesigned.
No.
But no, he resigned.
And yes, that's when
Resign
he,
is a nice way of saying fled.
Matt repeated that at this meeting. It's okay, Linda.
Refresh my memory, so it's
Yes.
perfect, like, in my mind.
So, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the April 20th, 2022 Building Facilities Construction Committee meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Bob? Okay. Motion made by Linda, seconded by Bob. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Okay, Wednesday, May 18th, 2022.
I didn't see any issues with this one.
I do have, and I may be wrong, but on number 7, the school side is finished, or is it the school site?
Site, S-I-T-E.
Yeah, okay. And any, okay. Anyone else?
I make a motion to approve the May 18th, 2022 Building Facilities Construction Committee meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, motion made by Linda, seconded by Bob. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And I think that is it. Our next meeting will be July 20th again. And you all have a copy of the building, the Douglas Fire Department Building Needs Assessment. And I do have,
It's actually all 3 departments.
Yes.
What's the whole project entitled? Do you have a code name for it?
Public Safety and Highway.
Project Whither Shall We Go?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a wide open,
Yeah,
open-ended question.
yeah. All right. If no further items, or,
Question before you.
yes, Mike?
Considering the membership of your board moving forward after July 1st, does your quorum change to 3?
No.
Stays the same? Okay.
Because it's supposed to be
That's only
7.
conservation?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking. I didn't know if the membership, if it
And that is
was-
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they change the makeup.
Okay.
I have some wisecracks to make about the weirdness of that conservation statute, but
Yeah,
it is unusual, highly
but
unusual.
we were lucky to have it when we
Yes,
did.
yeah.
Yes, I remember. Okay.
Well done.
If no further discussion, a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn at 4:55.
Second.
Who seconded? Bob? Okay, Linda and Bob. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you, everyone, for your information.